Hey there, guys. I finally have your new question for multiplying decimals that I will put on Flipgrid. When you look at this video, first of all, I do give you an example and I show you how to do it one more time. If you stay to the end of the video, the question that I want you to answer is there, and I give you instructions on what I want you to do, okay? There are two methods that I want you to try and use when you're answering these questions. Remember, any other time you're doing math, you always use the method that works best for you. But just for this example, please try and do both to the best you can, all right? Please be patient too. I know there are some small errors in what I say in there. Putting these videos together is not easy. I make so many mistakes through the process that I have to delete and go on again and again and again. So anyways, please be patient. It's not too bad, I think, in the end. So good luck and try your best. And I'm looking forward to seeing your responses on Flipgrid. Okay there, guys. I'm going to give you a new question to try on Flipgrid with multiplication of decimals. When you do this question, which you'll see at the end of this video, I want you to try and use two different methods. I want you to try and use, number one, the standard algorithm, which is what most of us learn in school. That's what I learned in school, how to do my multiplication. And also I want you to try number two, which is the grid method. As with doing any math, it's good to try some different methods, but always use the method that works best for you. But for this example, I want you to try and use both. While you're doing your video, I also want you to try and use some multiplication math terms. So if you look at question one there, I've already put an arrow. The number I'm going to multiply is called the multiplicand, and the number I am multiplying that number by is called the multiplier. So when you do your explanation, try and do that. Next, we're going to go into how do we do this. So when we multiply decimals, remember, we are not worrying about lining up the decimals, but in this example, it does line up, which works out great anyways. So we always start from the bottom right and we work our way to the left. So we always go, we're going to go 3 times 1, 3 times 2, and 3 times 6. So we'll do that now. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 6 is 18. Remember, before I go on to the 7, I have to put a 0 placeholder there. Now I'm going to do my 7s. Again, I'm going to start from the right. 7 times 1, 7 times 2, 7 times 6. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. I have to carry that 1. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 1 is 43. And then what's left to do is I add. 3 plus 0 is 3. 7 plus 6 is 13. Carry that 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 13. Carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. And 4 plus 0 is 4. Now, the other part that I do want you to explain for me when doing this is, how do I figure out now where do I put the decimal in my answer? Well, what you have to do is go back to your question and look how many numbers are to the right of my decimal. So in my question, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers to the right of my decimal. So in my answer, I must have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers to the right of my decimal. So my answer would be 4.5333. Now I mentioned above that I wanted you to try and use some of the terms when you're doing multiplication. So my answer right here when I'm doing multiplication is called the product. So next I wanted you to try and use this grid method. And when we do this, you have to set up your grid nice. And then what I want you to do is do your multiplication through here. So again, we start with the bottom. I'm going to do 3 times 1 and then 7 times 1. So 3 times 1 is 3, but I put the 0 here and the 3 here. 7 times 1 is 7, 0, and a 7. Now I'm going to go back down to my 3's, but now I'm going to multiply 3 times 2 and 7 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. I'm going to put my numbers like this. 7 times 2 is 14. 1 here, 4 here. Now I go again down to my 3. I'm going to do 3 times 6 and then 7 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. 7 times 6 is 42. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to look at these diagonal rows of numbers, and then we're going to add. So 3 plus 0, 3 plus nothing is 3. And then I'm going to look here. 7 plus 6 is 13, but I carry the 1 by putting it right here. Now I have 4 plus 8 is 12, plus 1 is 13, and I have to carry the 1 over to this diagonal row. Now I do 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and 4 plus nothing is 4. Again, I have to go back, and by the first example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers to the right of my decimal in my question. So I have to have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers to the right of my decimal in my answer. So my answer again is 4.5333. Both of my answers are right. It all worked out good. So here is the question that I'm going to give you. 7.31 or 7.31, sorry, times decimal 84. So I want you to try and show me the standard algorithm method and the grid method. When you do this, I would like you to try and explain to me which one is the standard algorithm, which one is the grid method, and label what is the multiplicand, what is the multiplier, and what is the product. Okay, there is your question. Good luck, and looking forward to seeing your responses. So here are the 2 questions I want you to do. It's the same question. I just want you to do it in the 2 methods. So your question is going to be 7.31 times decimal 84. All right, show me how you do it. Let's try it, and good luck.
Watch it. Watch it.
This is not gonna work.
It's gonna work. It has to. Well, watch. Oh, it's ripping.